Well, hello once again, and welcome to the channel. I'm Aaron Maguire from Live Streaming Events, and today I thought I'd run through a couple of troubleshooting um, kind of solutions that I had with my gear and my setup. So this is what I have. I have a Logitech G2 G29 steering wheel and pedal setup along with the shifter. So and also I have a radio in my PC. I have a RX was it 570 graphics card. I'm very new to the whole PC world, so graphics cards are not something that Mac users, well, for me as a Mac user anyway, really give two hoots about. Maybe that's a bad thing. But anyway, and also I have an Oculus Rift S, which is right here. So that's pretty cool. So I do all my Assetto Corsa driving with the Oculus Rift on, and I record it all to the using the Radeon software, and then I upload that to Track Attack and to my instructor Dean Samet from Evolve Driving, and he gives me feedback. So we're currently working on that at the moment, uploading that, him getting the information that he needs to be able to give me the feedback. So one thing I did find was a bit of an issue. So initially I just got everything, turned it on, didn't really care too much about the settings, just thought everything would just work perfectly. And yeah, it did. It got to the point though, and I don't know what I did differently, was that the Oculus Rift, when I went into Assetto Corsa, I would activate the recording function, which was, what is it, Shift Control E. It would start recording. I'd go into the game, awesome, put on my headset, ready to go, and then when I came live in the car, it was all just it basically just really jittery, just everywhere, pretty nauseating, and made it really impossible to actually do anything. So what I did, I'm just going to make this window a bit bigger. There we go. So I can actually see that I'm actually live. So these are actually live. So I'm not recording and editing. Because this is, I do own live streaming events. So anyway, so back to it. So what I found was I went online and I was trying to find a whole bunch of, read a whole bunch of forums and everything. And so basically they all said you can unplug your Oculus Rift and then plug it back in with the USB into the USB port first, and then wait for the orange light to come on the Oculus Rift, and then plug in the your video port, which is God, I can't remember what they're called. Yeah, anyway, doesn't matter. Not HDMI. And so from there, I went into Assetto Corsa, which we will go into now. Let's have a look in here. So I went into here basically. They said leave it on full screen rendering. That doesn't really do much, make much difference. Nothing else here. I went into effects. They said turn off the fast approximate anti-aliasing. I am going to see if I can turn that back on, because I am finding that there's sort of some aliasing happening on the corners and on the Armco barriers, and it kind of looks horrible. So I'm going to try and figure that out today. But I turned that off, which was their advice. The other thing I did was I went into here, into the view, and I changed, as you can see, I've changed the G-force effects right down to 0.4, 0.1 and 0.4. Also the camera shake at high speed, I reduced that right down to 0.2. And the other thing that I turned off was, sorry, that's my mobile phone telling me I've got an email. Nothing else really I turned off. That all that other stuff is just my own preference. I turned off the high quality mirror reflections. But other than that, that's all I did. I did go into the Radian software. Now I'm going to see if I can remember how to get into that. Nope. Alt R, not that button, that's for sure. Oh, there we go. So I've gone into, oh, and you can't actually see it on there, which is really bizarre. Okay, well, I'll get out of this then. I will Alt close, Alt R to close. Press Alt R, close. No, okay. Anyway, so I did that, came out, restarted everything, and went in and started recording. I did go into, so I went into my Radian software and I ran through a couple of things. I've got a monitor that's not the greatest, and I don't really think that it's the monitor that's doing anything. So, but I went into the record functions and what did I do? I think I just turned it to, you know, it was set to gameplay or in game. It was the recording quality, so I kept that the same. I think I might have turned off a couple of things, but it really wasn't. I looked over everything and thought, well, I haven't really done anything different. So it came back in, and I think just with the changes I've made in Assetto Corsa, that's made a difference, and now it records perfectly. There are a couple of times when it freezes, and I think maybe that's to do with my hard drive. So I did find that for some strange reason, and I'm very new to PCs, it's recording to my OneDrive, which is really annoying. Anyway, and it would say, "Oh, your OneDrive is now full," and I thought, "Oh, I don't really want it on my OneDrive." So anyway, that's something I'm going to work at. But I now save them all to my D drive. Oh, that's right. So in the Radian software, I actually said save it to my D drive, which is a much bigger drive. So it saves it to there now. Mate, it makes a huge difference, I think. Yeah, so I changed the save function. The other thing is that I found with this, we'll come back to this. So what I found with the Oculus Rift was that there was no sound. So I put it on. I wouldn't really hear any sound at the start, with the opening credits and stuff like that. So that wouldn't happen, and I'd think, oh, what was going on? And what was going on was that I didn't have my sound not in the game, but on my computer was not correct. So went down to my speaker function, and there's just a multitude of different ones. So there's the Realtek or whatever it is, the one inside the computer. I think there's a two or three on the Oculus, but what I chose was the Oculus Rift S audio. That's it. Went back in, boom, everything's perfect. So that's good. The only other thing that I have had a problem with is the shifter. Now, the only solution there is, and it happens all the time, so I always go into Assetto Corsa, check the controls, and go to the shifter and run through the gears and make sure that they hit, you know, number 13 is, well, it's all written in here. If I go to there now, let's go in here now. So I'm in shifter, so button 13 should be gear number 1. I'm going to go into gear number 1 now. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then, but sometimes I go to 13. I go to gear number 1, and it says nothing, or it says 15. So it completely screws up, and it actually happened mid-race yesterday, and I had to drive around Silverstone in a Lotus using third and fifth for about a lap. So but for some strange reason, it just came right, and I was away again. The solution to that I've found is I plug my G29 into one USB port, and I just keep it in that one USB port at all times. I don't change it. If I unplug it, I always plug it back into that same USB port. So what I did, and I found out, I was playing Dirt Rally yesterday, and it was just not working, and I thought, oh, okay, right. So I just unplugged it, plugged it back in, let the steering wheel spin backwards and forwards and calibrate itself, and then it was fine after that. So that is there's my troubleshooting so far. I'm going to try and look into getting a bit more quality um, out of the Oculus Rift. Other than that, the steering wheel and the pedals work incredibly well. I think I might upgrade the brake um, spring just to give it a bit more realism. And the shifter, if that stuffs up, then unplug, plug back, and plug back in the USB port. Oculus Rift. Make sure your audio is set on your computer to Oculus Rift S. And the other thing is go in and just play around with your settings on Assetto Corsa. So back them all off and then one by one. And I learnt this through Alistair Robbie, actually, who's my technical director in live streaming events, is to pretty much try and eliminate the problem one by one. So I just turn off everything and then I add things back in again until I start to find the problem again, and then I back it off. So that's what I would do, and I would go into your Radian software or your NVIDIA recording software, and just look at the recording settings and the location that where you're recording your laps. So that's it from me. Uh, this was good. Nice wee chat. I don't know how long it went for. Um, 13 minutes. Man, that goes really fast. I wanted them to be like 5 minutes. Anyway, see you next time. Yeah, see you later. Bye.